felt about what was said about me on another platform from some other people. You know, that sounds like I'm not a troublemaker.
Jim will be out of business
Weatherman
after August 3rd, so I'm practicing the weatherman. As you can see, I'm in Harlem, New York. What up, Harlem? I love y'all, you know, but my shit don't go that fast, okay? But anyway, I just want to say, after August 3rd, I'm going to be the new weatherman. If I ain't going to be it, Kiss is going to fill in, or we're going to have to do this shit together. But August 3rd, after August 3rd, no more weatherman from Capo. It's over.
All you gotta do is pull up here. You know, you wanna join me? Pull up and join me. You know what I'm saying? Pull right up here and you can join me. I'm on live.
Yeah, talk that shit. Yeah.
We're here, baby. Pull up.
Know what's up.
211, never here.
Know what's up, y'all.
You know what I mean? We're here, baby. J1 pulling up. He went home. You know, after the gym, he wanna go get fleet. All you gotta do is pull up, 211 nap in hand, get checked out, and everything else will fall in line after that. I'm out here with the legends, man. You know what I mean?
My man,
you
right.
see it, man. OG Prince, man, one of the most solid individuals ever touched the universe.
Right.
We keep it solid, we keep it real, original over here, 100%. You see who pulls up? The real ones. And we keeping it solid. That's all we do over here. No extra bullshit. If you ain't coming on that type of time, stay where you at. Get your prostate checked, get you a juice. Juice is for life.
That moment was arguably one of the coldest reality checks hip-hop ever witnessed. The day Jadakiss and Styles P went off on Jim Jones live on air wasn't just funny, it was brutal. The Harlem rapper tried to defend himself following the Dipset versus the Lox vs. battle. But what was supposed to be a friendly debate quickly escalated into a verbal beatdown that had the entire culture laughing and remembering exactly why the Lox runs the streets of New York with unmatched respect, rewinding the infamous night. Let's rewind back to that infamous night when Dipset and the Lox faced off on Versus. It was hyped as legendary Harlem versus Yonkers, all about flash versus bars. Fans were ecstatic, claiming it would be one of the greatest showcases of New York rap pride ever. But once the mics turned on, it got ugly fast. The Lox didn't come to play. They arrived with precision, breath control, and real stage presence. Jadakiss's raw freestyle energy and Styles P's gritty delivery had the crowd going wild. Meanwhile, Dipset looked lost, rapping over backing tracks, arguing with each other, and relying more on their jewelry and nostalgia than their performance.
Jim Jones, Styles P, let's talk about it. Versus started out as how much body of work you got, how many dope-ass singles you got, right? Then it grew and progressed into having levels to this shit. It's sort of like boxing. You think you're gonna mash somebody the out until them lights come on, it's a different story. Styles P said, I'm a barsmith. It's levels to this shit. Meaning, look, I can go on my bag with singles, but I can also go on my bags with body and shit. Far as freestyles. Can Jim Jones do that? Maybe he can. Have people seen Jim Jones do that? No, they haven't. Because like I said, once you get under them bright lights like a boxer, it's a different story.
The turning point was undeniably when Jadakiss dropped that "Who Shot Ya" freestyle, the moment he took over the whole event. He told the crowd, "We're in New York, man. This is real rap." And the audience erupted. You could see Jim Jones's confidence fade right there. The Dipset crew tried to respond with their hits, but it was too late. They had been outclassed in front of the entire culture. The radio show humiliation. After the embarrassment of the battle, Jim Jones tried to do what he does best, talk his way out of it. A few days later, he appeared on a radio show attempting to explain the loss, claiming, "We weren't prepared like them. They rehearsed. We just came to have fun." Fans weren't buying it, and neither were Jadakiss and Styles P, who just happened to call into that very radio segment while Jim was talking. That's when the real humiliation began. Jadakiss jumped on the line and didn't mince words. "Ain't no excuses, bro. You got cooked. We came to work. Y'all came to pose." The studio fell silent for a moment. Even the host couldn't hold back a laugh. Styles P sealed the deal, saying, "Y'all Harlem dudes had matching outfits but forgot the lyrics." Everyone cracked up. Except Jim. You could hear the frustration in his voice as he tried to keep cool. claiming it was friendly competition, but by then, the damage was done.
Jim Jones.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he's been in a few fights.
Has he won any?
I believe so.
Oh, really? Which one?
They say he beat up
His baby mama or something like that?
Nah, he beat up dude at the restaurant.
Who, the cook?
Let me see.
I don't even think he's from Harlem, tell you the truth.
You don't think he's from Harlem?
Nope. I think because they never talk about him being in Harlem. I think he's from North Bronx or some shit.
You know, he claims a blood gang out there.
Britney Spears claims a blood gang. And
See, what made that on-air moment so disrespectful wasn't just what was said, it was the tone. Jadakiss and Styles P didn't come at Jim Jones like enemies. They came like older brothers reminding him he got caught slipping. That made the critique hit even harder. They weren't yelling or cursing. They were calm, confident, and surgical with every single word. Jadakiss delivered the legendary line, "Y'all thought this was a fashion show. We thought it was hip-hop." That quote instantly became iconic. Social media turned it into memes, reaction videos, and quotes that still circulate today. Jim tried to clap back, saying, "We had the bigger hits, though," but even that fell completely flat. Styles P instantly responded with a cold truth. "You can't out-hit bars, bro. You can't dress your way out of defeat." Every time Jim tried to talk, the Lox duo doubled down. You could tell they weren't just defending themselves, they were defending the very art of rap.
Mace need to go on a diet. He need to get his life together. He needs to go to the doctor and get a physical. He looked terrible, bad body, back ass. He look big around the neck, waist look crazy. I'm body shaming his. You heard? He need to go get his shit together, get on the treadmill, do some push-ups, do something. You heard? Especially for playing with me.
Fans in the comments went absolutely crazy that day. People were saying things like, "Jim got humbled twice, once on stage and once on radio," and others declared, "Dipset made New York look soft. The Lox brought the hunger back." Honestly, they weren't wrong. That Versus battle became a turning point for both groups. For the Lox, it was a rebirth. Jadakiss became a living legend overnight, and Styles P reminded everyone why he's one of the most respected MCs in the game. For Jim Jones and Dipset, the loss exposed the difference between image and authenticity. Style versus substance. The core issue with Jim Jones was that he always leaned more into style than substance. Harlem is known for its flair, the fashion, the flash, and the talk. But when it's time for pure skill, the flash won't save you. The Lox came out with discipline, chemistry, and years of loyalty. Dipset came with egos and nostalgia. That's why the Lox walked away with more than just a win. They walked away with the culture's respect. After that radio humiliation, Jim tried to clean things up. He posted on Instagram saying, "It's all love. New York won either way." But everyone knew it was pure damage control. You could see the hurt in his interviews afterward. He started throwing subtle jabs at Jadakiss, saying, "I could outwork him in the gym, but not on stage." But that just made him look worse. It was like watching a sore loser try to move the goalpost. At that point, even Dipset fans had to admit it. The Lox crushed them, and Jim's pride was still trying to heal.
I think Jim was trolling. So I don't have much to say about it because I don't believe that Jim Jones believes that he's a better rapper than Nas, Pusha T, and Styles P. Yeah. I think he's an icon in terms of the fashion
culturally,
shit.
All
and
right.
Yeah, but we got to stop the train at somewhere.
Nas is a good place to stop that train.
Nas is a great place to stop that train for anybody.
Yeah.
When you start naming specific people,
I'm not mad at that.
It feels weird to me. Also, he doesn't have more Billboard entries than Nas. That's the other thing.
I didn't check it.
He does.
I saw some people fact checking, and he don't.
He does not, and it's not particularly close.
Yeah, it's not.
He doesn't have a bigger listening base.
I wouldn't have thought it was close, but again, I didn't check it.
It's not close, and
even if you remove features,
even if you get rid of features,
not close.
It's not. It's just not close. I mean, you look at Spotify. Nas has 9 million followers. I think Jim has like 850,000. I mean, the traditional metric. You look at Grammys. I don't think they're on the same planet. I don't think that they should be debating that.
See, and that's why it's smart for Jim to insert himself in these conversations.
What made this whole thing even more hilarious was how Styles P turned it into content gold. Afterward, he went on his own podcast and simply laughed about how Jim Jones was still trying to spin the narrative. Styles' message was simple. Ain't no spinning the truth, bro. You got cooked. It's okay. Take your L and move on. The way he delivered the line, calm, confident, and slightly amused, only added to the humiliation. He even joked, "Harlem had Prada, we had pressure." The internet ate it up. Meanwhile, Jadakiss kept playing chess while Jim was playing checkers. He didn't even bother to talk about Jim anymore. He just kept performing, dropping freestyles and selling out shows across the country. That's how you know you won, when your opponent is still explaining himself while you're getting paid for victory laps. The humiliation continues. To make things worse for Jim, other rappers started chiming in. Mace joked about it on a live stream, saying, "Yo, I told Jim the locks is different." That's workout rap versus war rap. Even Fat Joe laughed during an interview, calling Jadakiss the General of New York. Everywhere Jim turned, someone was reminding him of that night. It became part of his identity. No matter what he did, people would always bring up that one massive L.
Jim Jones, Nas wasn't even a debate. Nas is a legend. Nas put in work. Nas's lyrics. Jim's not even close. The shit Jim says doesn't even make sense compared to what Nas has done for our culture. Hip hop, don't you stupid motherfucker know, you dumb, idiotic, wanna be entertained. Are you crazy? You don't play with someone's legacy like this. Y'all know it's not even close. I had the Source magazine. I did amazing shit. I helped a lot of you motherfuckers. Motherfuckers whose careers, and believe me, it's not like it was just me, but I had a hand in helping the culture progress, move forward, grab in the street to help put a light on them. Myself, Dave Mays, and the rest of the crew. I've never seen more clown shit in my life. Ain't no fucking way. Now we're gonna start taking real legends and legacies, and we're gonna start tainting them with this foolishness right now. Are you fucking kidding me? Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. You can't play with legacies like that. You can't play with Nas's name and his body of work like that. Everybody knows that Jim Jones catalog ain't got nothing to do with Nas. Why are we even entertaining that? Jim is more relevant than Nas now. Get the fuck out of here with that, man. This shit right here got y'all fucked up. Go listen to Nas, or even go listen to Jim. Music is to be listened to, not to be talked about. This is the most disrespectful, one of the most disrespectful shit that's happened to our culture is how much attention this Jim Jones and Nas shit is
What
getting.
hurt Jim Jones most was that he always wanted the same respect that Jadakiss and Styles P commanded. He wanted people to see him not just as a hustler or hype man, but as a real MC. But when you get dismantled on the world stage, it's incredibly hard to rebuild that image. You can drop 10 mixtapes, but the crowd remembers that mic check moment forever. Even months later, Jim was still trying to rewrite the narrative. He claimed Dipset had the bigger catalog, said he'd do a rematch under better conditions, and even hinted that the locks rehearsed too much. But fans didn't care, because preparation is part of greatness. The locks came ready to perform. Dipset came ready to pose. That's the critical difference between craftsmanship and comfort, a humiliation that crosses generations. Every few months, clips of that battle resurface online, and the comment sections light up all over again. Younger fans who didn't even grow up with Dipset are now calling Jadakiss and Styles legends while roasting Jim all over again. That's how deep this humiliation went. It crossed generations. What makes it poetic is this. Jim Jones spent years trying to prove he represented real New York. But it was two Yonkers vets who showed him what real New York rap still looks like.
It's one of the most disrespectful shit that's happened to our culture. But I'm sure y'all will find some other stupid shit to pay attention to fuck our legacy, to fuck our culture, while the powers that be and the motherfuckers that's holding the strings are steady laughing at us, disrespecting us while they on their yachts and mega mansions. They give us the crumbs, and what happens? We want to flex on each other. Y'all done really let this motherfucking device take over y'all's souls, y'all's spirits, y'all's minds. This thing controls everything y'all think, y'all say, and y'all do. Now, do you think God wanted it like that? And y'all can't even help it. Y'all run to this and you stay on it all fucking day and entertain both. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself for even entertaining this Nas and Jim shit. Ashamed. But this is what a good example, and I want y'all to hear me, a good example of what social media is doing. Social media can take anybody who ain't and put them against somebody who's one of the greatest orators, speakers, rappers, men in our time. And y'all think that's cool? Y'all think that shit is like fly? Y'all done lost it, bro. Y'all done lost the essence of what life is about, of what being black is about. They're winning.
At the end of the day, what happened between Jim Jones and the Lox was bigger than just rap beef. It was a culture check. Jadakiss and Styles P didn't just humble Jim, they humbled an entire mindset that had been creeping into hip-hop for years. The idea that flash, fashion, and followers matter more than skill, preparation, and respect. When Jadakiss said, "Y'all rapping over your own vocals," he wasn't just clowning Dipset. He was calling out an entire generation of artists who had stopped taking the craft seriously. That's why fans loved that moment so much. It felt like the old New York finally slapped the new New York awake. And Jim happened to be the face of that wake-up call. Legacy and the lasting lesson after that, you could tell even Jim started moving differently. He began focusing more on business, stepping back from the tough guy persona, and trying to rebrand himself as a grown man in hip-hop. But that shadow, that night, that on-air embarrassment still follows him. Every time he tries to talk slick or act superior, people just bring up the Lox. It's almost like that night reset his whole reputation. Jadakiss and Styles P didn't mean to destroy him, but they did what real artists do. They exposed the truth. And in hip-hop, truth hits harder than any diss track. You can't fake chemistry, you can't fake breath control, and you definitely can't fake legacy. That's what separates icons from imitators. The Lox walked out of that Verzuz as certified legends, not because of age or nostalgia, but because they reminded everyone what authenticity sounds like. Jim Jones, on the other hand, walked out realizing that fame doesn't equal respect. You can have money, clothes, and cameras, but if you don't master your craft, the real ones will call you out. So, yes, the disrespect was real, but so was the lesson. Jadakiss and Styles P didn't just clown Jim Jones, they reminded the culture that no matter how far the game evolves, bars still matter. That's why years later, people still talk about it like it just happened. Because that moment wasn't about humiliation, it was about correction. The Lox didn't just win that battle, they restored the balance of hip-hop. In a world full of filters and fake flexing, two veterans showed up and proved that real skill never dies. And Jim Jones? He'll forever be part of that story. The man who got humbled on the mic by two of the greatest to ever do it.